Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari 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 Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram,
Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram,
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai,
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the two verses 21st verse and the 22nd verse together have been given. Arjuna Vacha Senayorubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayamechyuta Yavadeta Niriksheham Yodhukamanavasthitan Kairmaya Saha Yodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. The meaning of these two verses together. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see who is present here, who is desirous of fighting, and with whom I must contend in this great battle attempt. So Srila Prabhupada explains, although Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend Arjuna. Krishna never fails in his affection for his devotees, and therefore he is addressed here as Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible. Chuta means fallen. Achyuta means not fallen. In this material world, we have all come with an enjoying spirit. Therefore, we have fallen. All the living entities within this material world, beginning from Brahma, the first created being, down to the most insignificant small ant, all are fallen conditioned souls. Sorry. We are all parts and parcels of Krishna. Our position is to live with Krishna. When we fall down, then Krishna comes to this world to reclaim us. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Controller, and we are always controlled. Arjuna knows, I am not the controller, I am controlled. Since he is a devotee, he knows his position. Still, he is ordering Krishna, my dear Achyuta, now you place my chariot between the two parties. This is ordering. It means Arjuna is becoming the controller, Krishna is becoming controlled. Just the opposite. Krishna is the controller and Arjuna is controlled. But here the opposite thing is happening. So, indirectly he is begging Krishna, please excuse me. What is that? My dear Krishna, I cannot order you. Order must come from you. But because you promised to carry out my order, you wanted to be my chariot driver. Therefore, I am ordering. I think you are fixed up in your promise. Therefore, I am asking you. So, Srila Prabhupada explains further, the relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render some service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. This is just the opposite of what happens in the material world. In the material world, everyone wants that, I want to be the boss, I want to be the master, and everyone else should serve me. But in the spiritual world, it's the opposite. Krishna is the master, everyone else are his servants, but Krishna is seeking an opportunity to render service to his devotees. And devotees are always seeking opportunities to render service to Krishna. Such a wonderful atmosphere in the spiritual world. So, Prabhupada explains, Krishna takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. As master, Krishna is always the order giver. Everyone is under his orders. No one is above him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he gets so much transcendental pleasure. Although, under all circumstances, he remains the infallible master. He is undoubtedly the master, always. His position never changes. Neither the position of the devotee ever changes. Devotee is always servant. Krishna is always the Lord. But in their relationship, sometimes the devotee becomes the master and Krishna becomes the servant. So further, Prabhupada explains, as a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, and therefore Arjuna is unwillingly participating in this battle. The 23rd verse, Yotsyamanan aveksheham ya ete atra samagataha dhartarashtrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya chikirshavah. The meaning of this verse is, let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. So, Prabhupada explains, it was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them in the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intention of proposing any peace negotiations with them. Now, the word used is durbuddhi. To usurp others' property is durbuddhi, mischievous. Why should one encroach upon others' property? That is not good. The Upanishads, it is said, Tena tyaktena bhunjita magrata kasya svidhanam. You accept only what is given to you. Don't encroach upon others' property. This is peaceful. Everything belongs to Krishna. So whatever Krishna has given you as prasadam, as his favor, you accept it, you be satisfied. This is the basic principle of peace in this world. But because people are not educated in that way, everyone wants more and more. There is no satisfaction. So this is called durbuddhi. The Vedic culture is that you be satisfied in your position. There is no question of anybody starving in any position of life. Nowadays, people are trying so much to make economic development. But according to Shastra, it is not possible to develop your economic position simply by your own endeavor. No. You are destined to have some portion of mixed happiness and distress. That's called destiny. A real intelligent person is he who satisfies, a real intelligent person is he who is satisfied with whatever Krishna has given him. If Krishna wants, he will give me more. Let me become Krishna conscious. This is the thinking of an intelligent person. There is opportunity to actually change your position in Bhakti Yoga. You can't change your material situation because destiny fixes up your material situation based on your past activities. But you practice Bhakti Yoga, you change your position. Krishna is anxious to take you back. Why are you wasting time with economic development? You cannot get more than what you are destined to get. The effects of pious activity is nice opulence, birth in a very high family, a lot of wealth, good education, nice bodily beauty. Similarly, the effect of impious activities is the opposite. But they are all material, they are all destined. Whatever you have got by pious or impious activities done in the past, that you cannot change now in this life. For this life you cannot change. It is not possible. So you can change your material position by Krishna consciousness only. You can become first class Krishna conscious person. Whatever you are destined, you will get without any separate endeavor. Don't bother about so-called economic development. So far food is concerned, Krishna is supplying. Eko bahunam yo vidharati kaman. even cats and dogs are getting their food. So why you won't get? Try to become very good devotee of Krishna, God. God has given me so many things. Let me serve God with my energy. This is Krishna consciousness. The first chapter, 24th verse. Sanjaya Vacha Eva Mukto Hrishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayorubhayor Madhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. The meaning of this verse is, Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, being thus addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Now here, Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra. And in this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. And one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his transcendental friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for one moment, because that's the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer sleep and ignorance both simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. Krishna as Hrishikesha, or director of the senses and mind of every living being. Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of both the armies. Now, Arjuna wanted to see, with whom I have to fight, my friends and relatives? He is hesitating. Why this ignorance of Arjuna? Because Arjuna is called Gudakesha. He is above this ignorance. How is he being affected by his kinsmen? Why was he hesitating to fight on this principle that they are my relatives, they are my kinsmen, they are my family members? Krishna knew it. Arjuna has become infected with this family affection. But Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. How is this possible? So, Srila Prabhupada explains, actually Arjuna is above ignorance, above becoming affected by this family affection. Yet, by Krishna's desire, Arjuna is playing like an ordinary person. Otherwise, how Bhagavad Gita could be spoken? Krishna cannot talk Bhagavad Gita with ordinary person. Krishna cannot fight with ordinary person. Even when demons come to this world like Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, they were Jaya Vijaya in the Vaikuntha world. They came here because Krishna asked them to come here. Krishna said, if you become my enemy in my Leela in the material world, then within 3 births you will come back to this spiritual world. If you remain as my devotee in the material world, then 7 births. So they preferred, no. We want to come back in 3 births as quickly as possible, even if we play the role of your enemy. Doesn't matter. So, Krishna has all these propensities. Just like sometimes we want to fight, mock fight. In the Vaikuntha, there cannot be any fighting. So, because Krishna wants to exercise his fighting spirit, he sends his devotee to become his enemy. So, therefore, you should understand Krishna in this way, as Hrishikesha. He knows, unless Arjuna becomes affected by this family feeling, how Bhagavad Gita can be spoken? Therefore, although Arjuna is Gudakesha, he is above being affected by this family affection, he played like an ordinary person affected by family affection, so that Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita not for Arjuna's benefit, for our benefit. So Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita through Arjuna for our benefit. This is the understanding. Now I'll take some questions. Here is a question. As you said, Krishna is doing his pastimes in other universes. So does Krishna do different pastimes or same pastimes in all universes? The answer is that Krishna's pastimes are replicas of his pastimes which are going on in the spiritual world. So they are similar, but not that all the pastimes are exactly identical. No. There are variations. There are some peculiarities of Krishna's pastimes even in the material world. For example, in the spiritual world, there is no killing of demons because there are no demons in the spiritual world. But in the material world, Krishna, when he incarnates, he kills demons. But Krishna's killing demons also is his Leela. How is it his Leela? Killing is Leela? Yes, because when Krishna kills demons, the demons are purified. The demons are liberated. The demons' sinful reactions completely wiped out. They don't have to suffer in any hell for their sinful reactions. Nothing, no punishment. Therefore, Krishna's peculiarity of pastimes in this material world is killing of demons. Similarly, Krishna taking birth, that is also Krishna's Leela in this material world. Spiritual world, there is no birth. There is no birth pastime. There is no birth, Krishna taking birth. Only in material world he takes birth. So, there are some peculiarities in the material world as compared to the spiritual world, even though Shastra says the pastimes in the material world are replica of the pastimes in the spiritual world. And in different universes, more or less similar pastimes are happening, but there are variations also. There are differences. Next question. Will Drishtadyumna not incur sin by killing his spiritual master? Yeah, it was mentioned Drishtadyumna learned the art of fighting from Dronacharya. And Dronacharya, being a liberal Brahmana, he taught Drishtadyumna, knowing very well that Drishtadyumna in future is going to be the cause of my death. Dronacharya knew this. Still he did not hesitate to teach Drishtadyumna all the military secrets when Drishtadyumna presented himself as a student. A Kshatriya has to learn the military art from a teacher who teaches us military science. Like Dronacharya was a military teacher. So Dronacharya taught. Now Drishtadyumna is standing on the side of the Pandavas and Dronacharya is on the side of Kauravas. Now Drishtadyumna is going to fight against Dronacharya. So the question being asked is, will not he incur sin by killing his spiritual master? No, there is no sin. How is it there is no sin? It's because this battle is a dharma yuddha. You should understand, this battle is a dharma yuddha. How is it a dharma yuddha? It is because Krishna is present on the battlefield and Krishna wants this battle. Krishna has come for reducing the burden of the earth. The earth was overburdened by demons who were posing as kings, and they were simply misusing their power, their extraordinary strength for not properly ruling but simply lording over ordinary people. So Krishna came to reduce that burden of the earth, these demons unnecessarily creating the burden. So right from the time Krishna was born, as an infant on his mother's lap, he killed Putana. Of course, Krishna's killing is also beneficial for the demons. They become liberated, they become purified, their sinful reactions are nullified. Nonetheless, Krishna killed Putana one after another, so many demons. And then Jarasandha, he attacked when Krishna was prince in Mathura. So Jarasandha's army was completely destroyed by Krishna and Balaram. Like that. So even this battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna has arranged so that all these demons, they will all be killed in this battle. So, but Krishna is present to deliver them. Krishna is present to deliver them. So, even Dronacharya will be killed, but Dronacharya will be delivered because Krishna is present on the battlefield. And Drishtadyumna, he is fighting on the Pandava side. So, therefore, his killing is not exactly killing. This is actually a service. Krishna wanted the Pandava's side to kill the enemy on the of the Kauravas, to reduce the burden of the earth. Next question. Uttamauja is Abhimanyu, because it is given Uttamauja is son of Subhadra. Please clarify. No, Uttamauja is not this Abhimanyu. He is not son of Subhadra. Now, you see, carefully read the translation of the verse which says, Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamaujascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharathaha. When Duryodhana is taking stock of the enemy party, who are all the great fighters on the enemy side. So he is listing. So he is listing Yudhamanyu, and he is listing Uttamauja. They are two great warriors on the Pandava side. Then there is Saubhadra. Saubhadra is son of Subhadra or Abhimanyu. So he is mentioned as another great warrior. Another great warrior. So it's a list. First in this list is Yudhamanyu. The second one is Uttamauja. The third one is the son of Subhadra, who is Abhimanyu. That's the third great warrior in this list. And the fourth one, a fourth set of great warriors, sons of Draupadi, 5 sons of Draupadi. They call Draupadeya. So totally in this list, there is a list of Yudhamanyu, Uttamauja, Abhimanyu and 5 sons of Draupadi. So totally 8 names are mentioned here. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Another question. Duryodhana was fully confident of Bhishma Deva's support as he didn't defend Draupadi's honor earlier. Being a Mahajana and Krishna conscious person, Bhishma, why didn't he come to Draupadi's rescue? Good question. Now, it was a situation where Yudhishthira, who was participating in that gambling match, when he was invited for the gambling match, because it is a Kshatriya cannot refuse a challenge, so he came for the gambling match. Further, in that gambling match, actually Yudhishthira was being cheated. Still, he did not raise objection in front of elders like Bhishma and Dhritarashtra and Dronacharya. He did not raise any objection. Then when he had lost his kingdom, then he was further made to continue the game by placing as the bet in that gambling, in that the prize, gambling prize. He had to place himself, he had to place Draupadi as a prize, this thing, in that gambling match. So, when he has placed it, and Yudhishthira is supposed to be expert in dharma, so when he has done that and he is lost, so Bhishma was considering that even though Draupadi appealed for help, that time Bhishma was considering whether what Yudhishthira has done is correct or not. He was considering that, and actually for some time Bhishma was confused. How can Draupadi be placed as a prize in this gambling match? How can? But who is doing it? Yudhishthira is doing it. He is a son of Dharma. He is a son of well-known son of Yamaraj, who is Dharma himself, Dharma personified. So he knows Dharma very well, and if he is doing it, it should not be wrong. So Bhishma was considering all this, and then when Draupadi appealed for help, Bhishma was very unhappy about the situation, the way Duryodhana and his brothers were treating Draupadi. But he was considering that whether Duryodhana and the Kauravas have any right over Draupadi becoming their maidservant. That was what he was considering. And also it is mentioned that Bhishma and Drona, in that vicious assembly, Asat Sabhaya, their intelligence became polluted. Even though they are themselves very noble souls and they conduct themselves very gentlemanly way, they know what is proper conduct, they know what is right, what is wrong, but their intelligence became clouded, became polluted because of the association of the evil-minded Duryodhana and the other Kauravas. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Asatsanga tyag e Vaishnava achar. So even though Bhishma is a Mahajana, through this instance we can learn from even such a great Mahajana. They are meant for teaching us that don't associate with evil-minded people. Even though you may not be evil-minded, but if you are in their company or in their association, you may get influenced by their evil-minded character, that you yourself will start behaving in an opposite way than a gentlemanly behavior. So it is meant for teaching us. And we also see that Draupadi, when she saw nobody is coming to her rescue, she had complete faith that Krishna will actually protect her. And that was proved. She just called out Krishna. Immediately Krishna came to her rescue. Immediately. So that is Draupadi's devotion is proved, and it also proves Krishna how he protects his devotees under all circumstances, no matter what. And Bhishma is teaching that in the association of evil-minded people, even saintly persons can get polluted. Why should Bhishma and Drona choose their obligation to Duryodhana over truth and justice? Yeah, this is also a good question. Bhishma and Drona, actually they felt some gratitude because they were being maintained by Duryodhana. As long as Dhritarashtra was a caretaker king, or Dhritarashtra had Duryodhana as the caretaker king in that Hastinapura, that time Bhishma and Drona were maintained by the king of Hastinapura. So they felt some gratitude, and when Duryodhana came and asked, kindly support me in this battle, they felt obliged to actually fight on Duryodhana's side, knowing very well that the Pandavas are deserving to actually get support of Bhishma and Drona. Knowing very well that Pandavas deserve their support, still out of gratitude, and because Duryodhana came and asked them specifically for help, they said, so far we are being maintained, and now when it comes to giving help, if I refuse help, that will be ingratitude. So this was their consideration. then in this purport, 14th verse purport, the chariot of Arjuna could conquer the three worlds. What are these three worlds that are mentioned in this purport? The three worlds are the upper, middle and lower planetary systems. The universe, Urdhvaloka, Madhyaloka and Adholoka. The heavenly planets, the earthly planets and the lower planets below the earth, the Patal Loka. So these are the three planetary systems that are mentioned as three worlds in this purport. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.